Zuzangpo and welcome to Bhutan This Week, our weekly news magazine where we take a look at the week gone by. I'm Tenzin Rabdi. Our top stories. His Majesty the King graces the 17th convocation ceremony of the Royal Institute of Management. His Holiness the Jekempo inaugurates hospital equipment worth millions of Nultrum. And the Cabinet has adopted austerity measures to curb unnecessary and excessive spending. With the knowledge and experience that the graduates of RIM have gained, they must take on the responsibility to serve the country. His Majesty the King shared this with the graduates of 2011 to 2013 from the Royal Institute of Management at their 17th convocation ceremony on Monday.
His Majesty the King, accompanied by the Gyaltsen, were ushered into the hall with a chipter procession. Addressing the graduates, His Majesty reminded that Bhutan is faced with many issues today and that the country is without enormous manpower or economic strength.
Teletendibe ngachira gelyong migilsu lejimbera de dubde migi donga tensu pezogose de tizumiki genkade de nameseme bomjil de da beljugi taga hebdele jaragi shel darina batawachin rupi malamigi kangese den bilegi tabdeo madio de tizumbera the Torara Tigi Jua the Tipdalu, Nachara Najunsu Cho Yuntu Matutu Pena, the Jutanjulu Yuntu Tuntumigi Lada, Duda Tuntumigi Kokapse, Jachesalebezo de Benangudul. The Tizumbera, the Toro Nachara Chimsa Gakabki Netang Sue Judibe Jove, the Tarinaba Bojin, Drolagi Gonde, Namasamea Zegasi Selabel. The Nacharagi Turugi Shude, the Mapap Derejodel. Tizumbe chala daumado koche kaara de chilera tungubdul di chegi shebal garigi mahuchira beru ngachiragi kap kola beru satunglera guzungdebe chile tungubel te anzumge te chage nampna sobiyul.
His Majesty told the graduates that all Bhutanese have the vital responsibility to strengthen democracy in the country. Democracy is not an end, His Majesty said. It is a process that must be nurtured in order to fulfill the aspirations of every Bhutanese and achieve national goals.
Ngachira pendi dubi gyakapse. Nyangon tinjegi pamsugi kauchek. Gyakapgi raoranse de sungchop, shide de chitun. Deki sukara dingdi zode beshimda. Gyakapdi rangi labalu chitik nail. Anilu tadi ngachi ngerangobel. Tizumbera, the Nachera Missigi Jodubi Gole Lavachin, De Charagi Shell. Nachera, Gaindera Berura, Rikpayul. Jauchulam se legimul, no some tanshimigi meal. Lakperdu, Nachera Gaira, the Gahaplu Shatsaigi Mizanzil. The Tizumbera, Nachera, the Gahabnalo, the Naralo. Teshora, Nachera Gahab Chungu Bendingil. The Nachi Gahab di Kopsubi Gahab Chira Berura, Milob di Bum Dunemindul. Ru Gahab Jankala Patawachin Milob 50 million lo, 58 million. Gahab Chungu se 7-8 million, the 10 million Gipanabel. Gahab Bomsudi 100 million edul. The Nachina do Gahab Nalutawachin di mi Bum Dune mi so the nga yi chomel ro gyakap jangala pa lo chu tham chang go chin nga china lu lo chi de ni na lu dub de tin sul ro gyakap na lu mi jada tong be gyakap bakti be la be go ba chin ti nga chi mi chi de ni gi be le jim be ran ra dut gole ju sen se de rang gi be ra ta di be godin thap su sa.
His Majesty the King awarded certificates to 211 graduates who have completed various master's, postgraduate and diploma courses. The courses include Masters in Management, Postgraduate Diploma in National Law, Public Administration and Diploma in Information Management, among others. His Majesty also awarded scholastic honours to 9 graduates in their respective courses. Mementos were awarded to the best faculty member and the best staff as well. His Majesty then launched the Master of Business Administration course. The new Master's course is expected to commence from next year at the RIM. The program concluded with the Teshimilam.
His Holiness the Jekimpo inaugurated additional life-saving equipment procured by the hospital on Monday. The procurement of the equipment was made possible with the donation of over 13 million Yultrum by His Holiness to the National Referral Hospital in January this year. The donation was made to help poor patients and to address the shortage of equipment at the hospital. With the 13 million Yultrum, the hospital procured 3 dialysis machines, 3 echocardiography machines that are used for diagnosing heart diseases, a treadmill, monitoring equipment and extra parts for dialysis machines. A total of 500,000 Yultrum was also donated to the Mongar Regional Referral Hospital to help poor patients in times of sickness and death. Bearing in mind the current state of the economy, growing public debt, the rupee crisis and ever-increasing current expenditure, the Cabinet has decided to adopt austerity measures to rein in unnecessary and excessive spending. The Cabinet has decided on several cost-cutting measures until the economic situation improves in the country.
With regard to the pay scales for the ministers, the Cabinet decided not to adopt the new pay scales as recommended by the National Assembly in 2010. The existing pay scale of Yultrum 78,000 to 85,800 will be applied for the Prime Minister and the Cabinet Ministers with effect from 27th July 2013, the day His Majesty the King granted Dakin to the Prime Minister and Cabinet Ministers. For the accommodation, Prime Minister has decided to live in his private residence and spare the official residence for continued use as a state guest house. Meanwhile, Cabinet Ministers will mandatorily occupy official residences. Security personnel for the Prime Minister and Cabinet Ministers shall be reduced to bare minimum, and no pilot escort will be used for movements within Thimphu and Paro. The Cabinet has also decided to keep the ex-country travel by the Prime Minister and the Cabinet Ministers to bare necessity. It was decided that there should be no formal reception or see-off lineup at the airport. Moreover, chardi arrangements should be confined to events involving royal family members, Shungdrasang, and that are of national significance only. No excessive expenditure shall be incurred for extending hospitality and entertaining guests by the Cabinet Ministers. The government entertainment for official purposes should be reduced to bare essential. The Ministry of Finance is directed to revise the existing circulars on government entertainments and hospitality. The Prime Minister has decided to use the old Toyota Prado vehicle on his duty. The Cabinet Ministers will use one of the pool vehicles available with the ministries. It was decided that no new vehicle will be procured by the government until the economic situation improves. Meanwhile, Maruti Wagon R cars provided for secretarial duty of the ministries will be returned for pool use in the ministries. The Cabinet decided that there will be no political appointments made in the Cabinet Secretariat. Instead, Prime Minister will look into reorganizing and downsizing the Cabinet Secretariat.
The European Union will more than double their assistance to Bhutan. The EU ambassador to Bhutan, João Gomes Carvinho, has said they are pleased with the outcome of their development assistance to Bhutan and are increasing their assistance mainly due to this.
We've also been able to tell the Bhutanese authorities that we, European Union, not only will be maintaining our support, but we will be substantially increasing our support for Bhutan. And this is linked to the fact that we, European Union, are now coming to the end. We work in 7-year financial cycles. And we begin a new 7-year cycle on the 1st of January 2014. In this new financial cycle, we have decided that we will significantly increase our development assistance. In fact, we will more than double our development assistance to Bhutan.
The EU will not only be maintaining their support in fields like renewable energy, agriculture and good governance, but will also be focusing on new initiatives. The ambassador has said that the EU is keen to support Bhutan in the capacity building of the local government and supporting a mechanism for certification of organic products, among others. The ambassador shared that 2 different missions will be sent in the next few months to study and work on the programs.
As a country becomes more developed, or as in case of Bhutan, the development challenges intensify, the tendency is for the use of fossil fuels to increase. This is problematic because Bhutan already faces important current account deficit. All of its fossil fuels are imported, and yet Bhutan is a country where the production of energy, of electric energy, is now going to increase a lot. So the big challenge, one big challenge that Bhutan faces is in this next phase where simultaneously you have an increased production of electricity and increased development challenges, you have to be able to join the two and have the development challenges fueled by electricity. This is not as easy as it sounds. So we're interested in working with Bhutan.
Prime Minister Tsering Tobgay has said that the government will be forming a pay commission to review the salary and allowances of civil servants and local leaders soon. He shared this at the first Meet the Press session of the new government on Thursday.
The Shiogi Teka Hibdalu, Tengache, the Shio Sanimi, Sane Jungi Tumi Sanimi, the Nache Jungle, Nifu Lemi, the Chanyamgi, Nifu di Sachi Le, Jimbechashi Begub di Kache, Seshuni. Tani Chashi Benigi Genkudi, Nifu Hensolupo, Seshuni. Nifu Hensugi Tumidi, Tengache Jobara Kojak Beshimle, the Kongi Genkudi, Nacheri Gakapki Netangita, Tengacheri Gakapki Penjorgi Netang Tashimle, Wambab Katachi Yubina, Ten, the Tenshimle, Tengacheri Shiopsu, Chiopsu, the Konagi Genkuda Tidi, Lada Tidi Gibe, near for the Top Tangsu Katachi Toga, Jumoga, the Su, the Kongibe, to Debdit, Nachelenge Sulupium, Seshuni, the Anigation.
When asked about how much the government intends to save by initiating austerity measures for the cabinet, Lynchen said adopting austerity measures for the cabinet was very important with the current economic state and ever-increasing current expenditure.
Tengache la kachra beru, the sedo dilu, the sedo sele gedi matani dilu, the disemka jakti be la beni dilu, the namsami ka che sevigi, the taxani seshunila. Tani beole tendigibe, the tatudi ngache henge junsogi lempo, tengache chuchi, tengache chachabi, that sunchoki teleberuda, numkorgi teleberuda, the delengachelegi chimnalepa labemi, the teleberuda, the sukara, the digi zero ma paptam dalu, tengache henge junsogi, the zero ma paptam tendigibe, the lochi nalu zero anemchi, mangil anemchi, danzi besu seti, machap se shuni. Chabe Mingo Seshuni. The Nachi Anebe, the Lab Bodalu, Naragi Rewadi, the Sedo Mapap Bodalu, Ranjigibe, the Laya, Lagu Essential Tepbekeon Seshuni.
He added even civil servants, corporations and private sector should stop spending excessively amid the current economic situation and work towards strengthening the country's economy. The Meet the Press session also saw media asking about the government's economic stimulus plans, the sustainability of the Meet the People program, among others. The new government also said that they will continue with the Meet the Press session every month initiated by the former government. Compiled for Sonam Lhamo for BBS News, Pemalhaden.
The government has indicated that they will table the draft Right to Information Bill for discussion during the first session of the second Parliament, which is scheduled next month. Although the Cabinet is still discussing this, the Prime Minister has already posted the bill on his blog for feedback and comments. The RTI Act is expected to foster good governance by facilitating information sharing by public authorities such as the executive, legislative, judiciary and the military, as well as private bodies carrying out public functions. However, No public authority will provide information that would harm the sovereignty and security of the nation or relations with foreign countries, as well as information that concerns the private and non-official affairs of the royal family and others. As per the bill, the information requested will need to be provided within 14 working days or even in 2 days if the information appears to be necessary to safeguard the life or liberty of a person. The result of the 2013 BCSE preliminary examinations were declared last Saturday. 54 is the cutoff percentage to qualify for the main examination. 1,614 university graduates have qualified to sit for the main exam, which will begin from October 12th. 3,568 graduates had registered, but 3,332 actually sat for the examination this year. The examination is conducted to test the minimum standard required for a candidate to appear for the main examinations. According to the Royal Civil Service Commission, there are 538 vacancies in the civil service for those who perform well in the main examinations. Last year, 1,078 graduates qualified for the main exam. The monks of the Dishin Podang Monastic School will no longer have to sleep on the floor. The school received its first shipment of 50 bunk beds this week, thanks to 2 Dutch students.
Until yesterday, no students at the Dishin Podang Monastic School owned a bed. They slept on mats on the floor in a cramped manner. The students therefore lacked personal hygiene and were prone to skin diseases. With the arrival of the bunk beds, the lives of the monks have definitely seen an improvement. The beds worth 500,000 Yultrum have been donated by 2 teenage Dutch students who have been living in Bhutan for at least a year now with their parents. Zoe and Dante are aged 7 and 9. The siblings said they raised the money for the beds by organizing a sponsored walk in Amsterdam in July this year, where 300 students from their former school took part.
We got the money because there was a walk. So the most children walked the walk. So they needed to pay money for the walk. So that's how we get all the money for half of the money for the monks. Thank you, Albert.
Dus de kids die have actually for the man and grandma. So now can you have some gold for the monks?
Zoe adds that she would like to organize similar campaigns in the future. Of the 108 committed beds, 50 were officially handed over to the school yesterday in the presence of the Tsulalube, the secretary of the Drasang Hensok, and the sponsors. The remaining beds will be delivered within a month. The 108 beds are expected to accommodate 216 students. The Dishin Podang Monastic School is currently home to over 300 monks, including the principal and 17 teachers. Being among the oldest monastic schools, Dishin Podang still lacks several basic necessities such as filtered drinking water and even pencil and paper for classes. Pemasuki for BBS News.
Residents in Lunana stress that the road network is critical for socio-economic development in their Gyeok. They say a major development bottleneck has been the lack of a road.
Lunana Gyeok under Gasa Jongkok is the most remote Gyeok in the country. The villages in the Gyeok are isolated and terrain is extremely rugged. Lunana is one of the unique mountain villages with high mountain ridges and snow-capped peaks. People of Lunana say that they are deprived of road connection and everything must be carried. They are using mules and yaks to transport goods. Residents says that they are waiting for the day when the burden of carrying load on their back would end. They said that day will be celebrated with jubilation.
We have to carry everything on our back. It is very long. We have to depend on yaks to carry goods, since we don't have too many horses. We let the yaks to carry most of our goods. It is not necessary to construct the road at a stretch. At least we can expect 2 to 3 kilometers to clear the road in a year. We don't need any other infrastructure development. People are willing to work for construction without any fees. Last year in the Gyeok Tsokdo, we discussed about the road construction in the Gyeok. We also discussed during the Tsongkok Tsokdo. Gubs from other Gyeoks in the Tsongkok also supported about the issue. But unfortunately, there is no budget for the construction.
People said that without road, they are facing difficulty in enrolling their children in schools.
Parents are finding very difficult to send children to school. If there is no road connection in the Gyeok, there is no way we can send our children to schools. Even teachers are not able to reach in time to Lunana.
Meanwhile, residents says that for the people of Lunana Gyeok, the gross national happiness can only achieve after the Gyeok gets connected with the motorable roads. Residents said the ultimate goal of life is to be happy, and to be happy, they need road connection in the Gyeok.
We are not asking road to the doorsteps of every household. It will be great if we get the road connections to the Gyeok center. There is no way JNH can be brought to Lunana if there is no road.
Lunana still sits in darkness without electricity. However, for the people of Lunana Gyeok, more than electricity, they are desperate for the provision of road services. Meanwhile, people in Lunana will have to wait and see what plans out in next 5 years. Sonam Rinchen for BBS News.
Well, that was Bhutan This Week. Join us next week at the same time for a whole new look at the week gone by. From everyone in the Bhutan This Week team, this is Tenzin Rabki saying bye-bye and have a great weekend.